how to live stream to YouTube and Facebook live using OBS. Guys, OBS is an open source software. It's free. It's simple to use, in my opinion, but we're going to walk through how to set this up today and how to use this software. It's free to download. What we're going to cover is why live stream, OBS Studio, the software itself, live streaming to Facebook and how to do that. We'll walk through that. And then live streaming to YouTube, and then how to simulcast to do both, which is definitely tricky. That's what we've been doing for the last few weeks with the Hump Day Hangouts, and that's what we just set up just now, which you guys got to witness. And it is definitely a bit tricky. So we're going to walk through that as well, and we're going to get through this presentation fairly quickly. Yeah, I just saw Marshall's comment. Okay, so why live stream? Facebook live broadcast provides strong reach within Facebook. I talked about this last week or during the masterclass, actually, but I wanted to point this out. There's a link here. So essentially what happens when you do a Facebook Live post from your page, whatever the number of page likes is your audience, right? Our Facebook Live posts are getting 25% reach. So our total page likes at the time of this screenshot was 3,646 page likes. And by doing a Facebook Live post within about an hour, within 60 minutes of the live post, the broadcast, we had 917 people reached. So that's 25% of our overall audience, which is significant, considering if you were to do just a normal style post, text and or image based post, it usually gets between 5 to 10% reach, and that's it. And what's interesting is there's the boost post button, which Facebook gives you the ability to boost the post, which gives you another 25% reach. So you end up getting 50% reach. Now that's huge. And this was 25% reach organically without doing any paid traffic or anything, guys. It was just a matter of initiating the Facebook Live event. And so there's a lot of reach right now with those, and that's part of the reason why I think it's so important to use it. And we're starting to use it with just about everything that we do. So hopefully you guys get that. I'm going to move this around again. YouTube live events. With YouTube live events, you can rank better than standard uploads. I think we all know that, right? So YouTube live events typically rank a lot better than just a standard YouTube upload does. And then they're better quality than Hangouts on Air. A lot of you guys are probably used to doing live events as Hangouts on Air, which is just the type setting. When you go to set up or schedule a live event, it gives you the type, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes, but there's a quick and a custom. A quick is if you select quick, which is how most people do it. Like when we do our Hump Day Hangouts and things like that, they're always set for quick, which means they're Google Hangouts on Air that are broadcasting or streaming into YouTube. Okay, but if you do a live event with the custom setting, that's where you can use like a encoder software, which is what OBS is, and it will give you full HD quality and 1080 up to 1080p, and it will also give you stereo audio quality. So it's a hell of a lot better than Hangouts on Air. Okay, so YouTube live events is certainly another reason why you want to use OBS. And by the way, you can stream pre-recorded videos with OBS too, both to Facebook and to YouTube. Okay, so OBS Studio download is obsproject.com. If you go there, you'll see that there's two different versions. I am using OBS Studio. There is a standard version, and I don't really know what the difference is because I just started with this one, and I've been using this one for about 4, maybe 5 weeks in total. And so that's the one we're going to be talking about is OBS Studio. Okay. So the first thing I want to do, guys, is I want to kind of show you, and again, this might get a little bit tricky, but I'd like to show you guys the OBS software itself. What I'm going to have to do is just show the entire desktop, which means it's going to be a little bit messy. What you're looking at here is in the slides, you'll see talk about scenes, and scenes are the first thing over here on the left. So we're going to go from left to right, the different settings here and what they mean. Okay, so scenes are like essentially your, I guess, overall, like what you're trying to share within the live stream. So you can set up a whole bunch of different scenes, and then you just click between the scenes, and there's a transition, which are scene transitions over here on the far right. We'll talk about that in a second. But that whenever you click from one scene to another, it'll transition based upon the transition settings. There's a few different options in there and that kind of stuff. But it makes it the way that I've been setting it up is I've got different browser windows set up. And so, for example, if I want to display my entire desktop, which is what you guys are seeing here, you'll see that I have scene set up as desktop. Now, I got to label these. You can label them however you want. There are some default labels and that kind of stuff. But I labeled these specifically so that I know exactly what I'm looking at. So, for example, right now I'm showing the entire desktop. However, if I want to just show Firefox, I can click on Firefox. And then for those of you, well, you'll see it because you guys are seeing my full screen in the Hangout as well. But if I click on Firefox and webcam, you'll see that now it's showing the actual Firefox window as well as this picture-in-picture in the lower right. And I can move this. Guys, see, I can move this anywhere I want. I can make it bigger. I can make it smaller. I can do all of that, okay? So that's pretty cool. And I kind of like to do that just because it's kind of good for people to be able to see, especially like on Facebook, not so much for Google Hangouts or for YouTube, but on Facebook, it's kind of nice to have like a face there that people can see, you know, some actual action going on. Because you know how Facebook, unless you press the play button on a Facebook video, then it'll play silently. And it would just look like it was just a still shot, right? And so at least with my image here in the bottom corner, somebody can see that there is somebody there talking, and then when they click the play button, they can hear the audio. So that's part of the reason why I like to have that picture-in-picture. But that's just a way to switch between different scenes or in different media, and that's why I mentioned media here too, because this is how you can also put in. So for example, I just showed you Firefox and Firefox webcam. Then I also have an image. So this is a still image that you can show or, you know, inject the still image into the stream. Same thing with the webcam, image and webcam. Okay. Then and again, you can add more scenes, guys. These are just the ones that I set up. Another one is video. Now, when I click video, it's going to automatically start playing the video, and you guys are going to hear the audio. So I'm going to shut up for a second, and I'm going to click video. Now, you guys on the Hangout probably aren't hearing it, but the Facebook Live broadcast is right now, okay? And so I just want you to be aware that like you can inject a video directly into the stream. And you guys, if you use the OBS Studio software to perform a YouTube live event, so to stream directly to YouTube and you click video, it's going to stream the audio in. You guys just aren't hearing the audio on the Hangout right now because the audio is not being piped into the Hangout stream, because I'm using OBS right now to stream into Facebook, and I'm using Google Hangouts on Air to stream into YouTube. Don't let that confuse you. When we get to the last slide, or the last couple slides where I talk about how to simulcast, that'll make more sense. But it's cool because you guys can live stream any pre-recorded video directly into either Facebook or YouTube. And you don't need a special software to do it. This is free, right? The interesting thing is, something I'd like for you guys to take away from this is, if you were going to do a live stream of a pre-recorded video, then what I suggest you do is you set up a still image like this with your call to action here, right? So phone number, whatever it is that, you know, click here to watch me, whatever the hell it is that you want. I would put a strong call to action here, and then I would click to start. So click into the video, and it will transition in just like you saw that. And then click back when the video ends, back to the still image, and then end the broadcast. And in part because when you start a broadcast, and we're going to talk about this when we get to Facebook and YouTube, when you start a live stream, there's a little bit of a delay between the beginning of the stream and when you click the go live button and the beginning of the stream. There's a bit of a delay. And so it's kind of good to start the stream with a still image up with a call to action. And then once you know that you're live, you can switch over to the video, or the video feed, or the pre-recorded video, however you've got, whatever you're planning on streaming, and then end it with a still image too, and then end your broadcast. That way it gives you two basically editing points at the beginning and at the end, so that you can have a cleaner overall Facebook Live event, okay? And so that's just something I wanted to point out. And so you just switch back and forth between scenes to do that. But it's really cool. Like I think you guys should be able to see this. If I click the plus button, it says add scene. You get to create a name. So for example, you guys can see I just created this one for OBS. It's not giving me the ability to select the OBS software as a source, which I guess makes sense. But that's all you do is press the little plus button, and then you give it a name. And then once you've named your scene, then you select your sources, okay? So you first name a scene, and then you go over and you select your sources, and your input sources are what are going to determine what is being shown in the stream itself, if that makes sense. So let's go back to desktop. For those of you that weren't seeing it, this is the desktop here. All right. Sources are your different types of inputs that you want to inject into the stream itself. So for example, for this, I've got desktop, and for sources, all I did was press the plus button, and then I selected window capture, right? Or display, excuse me, this was display capture. Display capture shows your entire monitor, okay? And so I clicked on display capture. Then you can give it a title. You can either create a new title for it, which is why I said show monitor, because when I clicked on the scene, I wanted to be able to identify what the source was, and show monitor makes more sense to me than display capture. So that's why I put that, but you guys can name them whatever the hell you want. Just know that that's how it works. Okay. So I can create new and give it a new name, or I could add existing if I already had an existing source that I wanted to add, that I'd set up previously, for example. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and cancel that because I don't need to add another one. But the same thing for Firefox, or Firefox and webcam, whatever. Like, you just, whenever you create a new scene, you just want to go over and select. So for example, if I select Firefox, when I come over here, you'll see I called the source Firefox window. Well, I added that. And so what you do then is select window capture, right? Because display capture shows your entire monitor. Window capture will show specific windows, and you can set which windows they are. So for example, if I click on window capture here, you'll see it says create new. And I was getting a phone call, excuse me. Let's just say, I'm going to say Firefox window 2. Okay, and if I click OK, then it brings up your the options that you select from a drop down. So any open window is going to show right here in the drop down, and then you just select the correct open window, and that's going to show that window as that source, if that makes sense. Okay. So hopefully you guys get that. By the way, just so you guys know, play around with it a little bit, because you know, it took me a little while of playing around with this actually to figure out how you configure all of these things. But hopefully this webinar will help you guys to shortcut your learning curve a little bit. In fact, I even kind of relabeled some of these today to make it make more sense for the webinar. So it actually kind of forced me to do that to make it simpler for you guys, which makes it easier for me really to use. Okay. The mixer's right here. These are the different, you know, the audio inputs. Essentially, you've got the mic and auxiliary inputs, and in the desktop audio. Keep in mind that if you're going to do a live stream like what we are doing with Facebook Live, you've got to make sure that you have desktop audio turned on, because if you have that turned off, then the Facebook live stream will only hear your mic and it won't hear other participants. So, for example, when we do our Hump Day Hangouts webinars and we're simulcasting through YouTube Live, through Google Hangouts on Air, and then we're simulcast, or we're live streaming to Facebook through OBS. The first couple times we did it, all that was heard on Facebook was just me, because I had only had the mic and auxiliary enabled, and I didn't have desktop audio enabled. But once I enabled desktop audio, that's when it started to bring in the voices of the other panelists on the webinar, which are, you know, Marco and Adam and Hernan, and that kind of thing. And we discovered that by turning on the desktop audio. And then you also are going to want to adjust the volume levels, because if you leave them all the way up, then sometimes the desktop audio will be really, really high compared to your voice through the mic, through your microphone. So you just kind of want to adjust those, and that just takes some playing around. Just so you guys know, what I do to adjust these levels and to kind of play around is set up a separate Facebook page within your Facebook account, right? So set up a testing page, something that you're only going to be using, that has no likes, no audience whatsoever. Just create a demo or test page, and then start setting up and playing with creating new live broadcasts through Facebook to test your video settings and your OBS settings. Because that way you're not actually pushing a post out for an audience to see. There's no audience if there's no likes on your page. The only audience is you. And so that's what I did. I just set up a test page, and I was testing a whole bunch of different settings until I figured out how to use it. So that's just a little trick there that you can use.
Hey, Bradley, just so you know, and Roger just caught that, in the Facebook group, the OBS window isn't showing. The only one that's showing is your presentation.
So how about now? I bet it's showing now.
Yeah, there you go.
I bet it's showing now. So just to walk through this one more time, guys, the scenes are where you're going to select the different types, And guys, I wanted to simulcast this to Facebook Live, but really we'll probably end up pulling the Facebook Live post down anyways and setting up the replay. It's through YouTube, so don't worry about it. Anyways, the scenes over here is where you set up, like I said, the different types of inputs. The way that it's the way I organize how my presentations are going to go. It just helps me to be able to switch between windows and stuff very quickly. Then you set up your sources, which are your input types, and that's on a per scene basis. So each scene can have its own input sources. Okay. The mixer is going to be your audio stuff. Just remember you want to have desktop audio on, or else the other participants won't be heard in your stream. Then we're going to transitions, guys. Transitions. There's a couple different options. There's a fade and a cut, and then there's a duration. And so just so you guys can see, if I do a switch between desktop and Firefox with webcam, you're going to see I have it set as fade with the duration as 500 milliseconds. So it's about a half a second of a transition, and you'll see that's that fade in from one scene to the other. So you can adjust that if you want, and that's how you do that. Okay. Then as far as the settings, there's a settings option over here on the far right. If you click on that, this is going to bring up your settings menu. You can go through each one of these. We'll go through them really, really quickly. And essentially, you want to just set up or configure OBS based upon your hardware and your bandwidth, whatever your computer's capabilities are and what your bandwidth capabilities are. Okay, so a lot of this stuff you don't even have to touch. I don't touch most of it. But if you might have to, if you've got like lower bandwidth or hardware, whatever, there's some certain settings that you might have to kind of like dumb down or lower the resolution of the live stream. That makes sense. Okay. The stream here is where, and I can't edit this or show you the options because I'm actually streaming right now with this. But right here where it says service is a drop-down menu. This is where you can select Facebook Live. You can select YouTube, blab.im, Dailymotion, Twitch. There's a couple other gaming type platforms where people share their games, whatever. I'm not a gamer, but there's several platforms in here. Facebook Live and YouTube are the only two that I'm using so far, but there's several of them here. So just make sure that you're selecting the correct service. And then you're going to paste the stream key in. I'm going to explain what the stream key is here in just a minute when we get to live streaming with Facebook and YouTube. Okay. Output is going to be, your streaming rate, your recording. If you want to record the videos and have them sent to a folder on your computer at the same time, you can. I typically don't, but you can. Audio settings, I didn't mess with this at all. I don't recommend that you do, but you might need to. Other than your mic auxiliary audio device, you're going to want to select the correct mic. Like, for example, I've got several different options here, but I want to make sure I'm using my main mic, which is the Blue Snowball. Okay. Then the video settings, same thing. You're going to want to adjust this based on what your bandwidth and hardware settings are. So the base or canvas resolution, that's showing, like if I select display monitor or whatever, the display capture, which shows my entire monitor, then my monitor is a 2560 by 1440 monitor. That's the resolution. You want to select your base canvas as whatever your monitor is. At least as far as I know, that's how you'd want to have it set. That's how I have it set. But your output resolution is what level of quality of definition are you streaming out? What is your output stream at? And I've got this set at 1920 by 1080, which is a 1080p resolution. I've got a really, really, really good bandwidth. So that's why I'm able to do that. If you have lower bandwidth, you might end up wanting to do something like a 1280 by 720, or even a, a 640 by 480 or whatever it is. So you're going to want to do probably, if your bandwidth isn't real high, you're going to want to go with a 720p or a 480 instead of a 1080. Just again, guys, that's why you want to set up some different tests or test this on a test Facebook page. Okay, so that you can make sure that you get that right. The worst thing you can do is get all prepared, get everything all ready, and then go on a live stream, and then your bit rate or your bandwidth is choking because you've got too high of an output setting, and then your live stream is real choppy. You don't want to do that. Okay. Then there's hotkeys. I haven't even started playing with that yet, and then there's some advanced settings which I haven't played with either. So I'm not going to give you guys any pointers on that because I'm not sure what the hell they do. All right, so we're going to go to the next slide. Live streaming to Facebook. This is how you can broadcast from a Facebook page. As far as I know, with this software, you can't do a live stream to your timeline. but you can do a live stream to a Facebook page. And so I'm going to show you guys how to do that. I'm going to have to select a different window here to do it. So give me 1 minute. I'm going to add a new scene. You guys will get to see this. I'm going to say Firefox 2. And I'm going to select a new scene. No, that's not what I want. 1 minute, guys. I'm going to set up a new scene, and hopefully you guys will be able to see this. Firefox 2 browser, something like that. Right here, this should be it here. Okay, you guys should be seeing this now on Facebook, and you guys on the Hangout are seeing full screen, correct? Yes, you are. Okay. All right, so this is what I was trying to show you guys earlier about the 25% reach. You guys can look at that on your own. As far as the actual how to broadcast from your Facebook page, guys, so from your page, so just log into your page or go to your page, and then up at the top right corner, or excuse me, at the top, you're going to see this Publishing Tools button. Click on that. When you click on that, it's going to open up this Publish Post Whatever. There you'll see over here on the left where it says Videos. You just click on Videos. Once you do, you'll see right here where it says Plus Live. That's how you set up a new live event. Now, once you click the Plus Live, what you're going to want to do is copy this, what they call Stream Key right here. Okay, and that's where you're going to paste into OBS in the settings. So back over here at OBS, let me go ahead and show the entire desktop again. And from over here, you go to Settings, and you go to Output, excuse me, Stream, and then right there where it says Stream Key, again, I can't edit this right now because I'm actually currently streaming, but what you do is just make sure that you have the correct service listed or selected from the drop-down, and then you paste the Stream Key in, then you click Apply, and then you click OK. Once you click OK, it's going to close this window, and then you can click the Preview button, and when you click the Preview button, if you don't have the OBS software started, the Start Streaming button, like right now it says Stop Streaming because I'm currently streaming. But if you're not already streaming, it's going to say Start Streaming. And then once you press Start Streaming, it will start to feed whatever is being displayed here into Facebook. But you can click Preview without it showing, without the software being started yet, which is fine. And that's how I like to do it. Just a little kind of side note, guys. If you click the Start Streaming button so that you can see the preview, you're going to get some weird echo feedback stuff going on for any noise that you make on your end, because it's going to be coming through Facebook through your speakers. And so you're going to hear some weird echoes and stuff. So what I typically do is I leave the software turned off, so it's not, I haven't started the streaming in OBS yet. And then I click Preview, and that way I can go ahead and fill in my details here without hearing all this weird echo stuff going on, which, by the way, you can avoid that by just clicking mute on your mic and also turning off your speakers or muting your speakers on your desktop. And then you can preview without it giving you some weird feedback stuff. But I just usually leave it just like this, where the preview is showing is offline. And then right here is where you're going to want to put in your I'm sorry, I was looking at the slides because I wanted to move the next one. In Facebook, if you click preview, what's on your mind, place the CTA and links here. So your call to action would go here and your link. So if you guys look on the Semantic Mastery page now, you'll see the Hump Day Hangout that we just completed, where I say, join the event and post your questions on the event page here. And then I put a link over to, semanticmastery.com/hump day. And that redirects people to the Google Plus event page where we hold our event every week, right? For this one, I said, join the discussion, watch the OBS project or whatever, the OBS webinar over here, click on this link, and it's the link to the Webinar Jam registration page. So my point is anywhere you're trying to drive traffic to, that's where you're going to want to put right here in the comments or what's on your mind section. Okay. The video title, that's where you're just going to give the video a regular, normal type title. So like in this one, it was how to live stream with OBS or something like that. And then video tags, you can put tags in there too. Those are just, your keywords, whatever, your top level keywords. Okay. Once you've done that, you want to go ahead and click the go live button. In this case, because the preview is not playing yet, it's not going to give me the go live button or the ability to click because I hadn't clicked start streaming over here. Remember, I'm already streaming. That's why it's not going to give me that option. But once you click start streaming and you see your preview window come up, then you click the go live button. And again, you're going to have some weird echo stuff going on. So I recommend you just go ahead and click mute on your speakers and your mic until the go live button has been clicked, and this page will, or this pop-up window will refresh. And once it refreshes, you can go ahead and click the X button to exit out of it, and it will still stream. Okay, you don't need to leave this open, because if you did, you'd hear a bunch of weird echoes and stuff anyways. So then you just click the X button, and then it will be streaming into Facebook. Okay. So you'll see the click go live when ready to broadcast. You may need to mute mic and speakers until the broadcast begins. When done, click the stop streaming in OBS. And I keep forgetting to do that. In fact, with Hump Day Hangouts, which we just completed, Marco and Adam and I were talking for about 2 minutes, and I realized the Facebook Live post was still going on. So I keep forgetting at the end of the stream, especially when I'm doing a simulcast, I can end the Hangout in Google, but I have to also come over here and click stop streaming, or else it's going to just keep streaming to Facebook. So just keep that in mind. It's something that I keep forgetting to do, and so I'm hoping you guys will avoid making as many mistakes as I do. Okay. So the next one is live streaming to YouTube. So this is, you know, this one is, I'm sure a lot of you are probably a lot more familiar with the YouTube process than the Facebook process. So I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on this, but I can show it to you. Let's make sure I should be logged in. We're going to go to a YouTube channel. All right. So once you're in your channel, you're going to want to go to your Creator Studio. All right. Then you're going to click on live streaming. And from here, right now, when you click live streaming, it by default brings you into this Stream Now beta screen. And this is how you can set up a live stream right from here with OBS. Okay, so all you need to do is come in here and give it a title. So whatever your title is, so I could say, excuse me, live stream demo with OBS or whatever. Right? You're going to put your description, your calls to action, your links, all the stuff that you typically would do with YouTube. You want to select your category. And then right here is your stream key, your stream name, your stream key, essentially. I'm not going to click reveal because this doesn't change for this channel. And if I clicked reveal, you guys would have my stream key, and you'd be able to stream directly into the Semantic Mastery channel. So I'm certainly not going to do that. But what you want to do is click the reveal button, and then it gives you like 10 seconds. It shows a countdown timer that it shows the characters here. So you want to copy them. And then you go back over to OBS, just like I showed you guys before. Under the settings, you go to stream. You select from the service YouTube, and then you paste the stream key in there, click apply, and then click OK. And once you do that, and then you click the start streaming button in the OBS software, it's going to show in the preview window right here. But what I like about YouTube is it automatically is muted, so it doesn't give you that weird echo stuff that the Facebook, when you set up a Facebook Live event, does. Okay, so you can do it that way. You can come right in here, and it's very, very quick and easy to set up a live stream from here. And what I like about this, guys, is, as I mentioned before, by doing a live stream with an encoding software like OBS, you get full resolution depending on your bandwidth. So I can stream in 1080p. And because of that, it's a 1080p quality video or live stream, which is that's incredible. Because when you do it with Hangouts on Air, I think it maxes out at 480, maybe it's 720. But you know, the audio sucks with Hangouts on Air. And when you do live events instead, when you're using an encoder software, you get full stereo audio and everything as well, and it goes all the way up to 1080p. So I think it's a much better way to stream. We're probably going to start using this. Well, maybe we might start using this for some of our Hump Day Hangouts too. We got to work on the chats and things like that though. So, but I just want to show you that the category. By the way, if you want to do a scheduled live event, which you can do, like, you don't have to do it right away. You can go ahead and schedule it. And if that's the case, or if you want to create an unlisted or private stream. So let's say you're going to do a stream for a training product or something that, you know, for let's say you're doing training for clients, or you've got a product that you sold or whatever, and you want to do training for only people that have purchased. You don't want that to be a public stream. Then you can set it as unlisted or private stream, but you have to do that through a scheduled live event, not from this Stream Now beta screen. Okay, so just so you know, if you click on schedule an event, all it's going to do is take you into this page here, guys, which is, this page can also be reached just by clicking the events button right here. Okay, this is how most of you are probably familiar with setting up live events. So it's no difference. This advanced button just takes, or schedule an event, just takes you right over to there. Okay, and the same thing goes here. if you're going to create an event or a scheduled event, you want to give it a title. You can set the time and the day at which the stream is going to begin. You fill out all your other stuff like you typically would do, your YouTube description, your tags. You set it's by default public, or depending on your channel settings. Mine's set to public, but you can set it to unlisted or private if you wanted. You can set sharing settings, and then right here, if you leave it to quick, which by default I believe it's on quick, that's going to use Google Hangouts on Air, which means you will not be able to use OBS. So just keep in mind, if you're doing a scheduled live event that you plan on using OBS for, you want to switch it to custom, not quick, because once you click create event, you cannot edit this. You can edit everything else, but you can't edit this. So you have to make sure that you select the correct type when you create the event. Okay. So just keep that in mind. We use Google Hangouts on Air for like our Hump Day Hangouts and stuff like that for now. But again, if we might end up switching over to custom at some point because of some of the other functions and features that are available. Okay. Stream options. I have not played with this. However, there is an option that I thought was pretty cool. Optimize for interaction, which means low latency. So what that means is the delay between what I'm saying and when it gets to you guys is pretty high on a Hangout on Air. So essentially, like if I say something now, it might take a good 8-10 seconds before you guys hear what I just said, and so there's that latency, and that's just by default on Hangouts on Air. But with live stream or doing live events, you can actually optimize for lower latency so that your comments and everything can come through more real time, like they do with like GoToWebinar, for example. Which, by the way, guys, there's a chat box here too. If you're doing a live stream, there's a chat window and everything here that pops up. Okay. You can also optimize for less viewer buffering. That's basically, I'm not sure what exactly that does, other than it would make it load faster for people. I'm not sure how they do it. And you can always add additional delays in too. Okay. Monetization is if you want to monetize with ads, which means you're going to allow YouTube to display ads on your video or call to action overlays, that kind of stuff. I haven't messed with that yet either. And then cards are pretty cool. I've done some card work with YouTube ads, but I haven't done any card work with setting up cards for live events yet. But I do want to play with that, because what cards are, the little slide out, the little eye icon that comes up in the top right corner. If you click on that, a card slides out with a call to action, an image, and it's clickable, which can link to other videos or to external link to external websites, that kind of stuff. But those are pretty much your options, guys. That's it. Once you've set up your stream, all you got to do is click the Start Stream button from your OBS Studio, and you'll see it'll start broadcasting. Okay, it's really cool. It's very simple to set up. I played with that earlier today. All right. So simulcasting, this is where it gets a bit tricky, guys. And then I'll look at some questions. We're almost done, anyways. We've got about 2 slides left. So for simulcasting, you must use Facebook for your stream output. So essentially, you're going to be using OBS to stream into Facebook, not into YouTube. The way, at least right now, and there may be a way with OBS to stream to 2 different places at the same time. So, but I haven't figured out how to use it yet. Again, I just started using this myself about 4 or 5 weeks ago. So for the time being, the way that I'm doing simulcasting is I'm streaming into Facebook, and then I'm using Google Hangouts on Air for my YouTube, for my live event in YouTube. And I just have separate windows open. You guys see what my screen looks like right now. So I have Firefox open over here. I have Chrome open over here. I have, another window and down in another quadrant that I use for, like, in this case, it's the slide presentation. And then I put my OBS software in the other quadrant that's available. That way I can kind of manage everything from one location. And like I said, it is definitely a bit tricky to get used to. I'm still making mistakes with it. There's no question, as you guys saw at the beginning of this webinar. But, just with practice, it'll get easier. And I think over time, they'll probably come up with some solutions that'll make it easier for us to do that as well. Okay. All right, let's pull this back up. So must use Facebook Live for your stream output. Set up the live stream as shown in the previous step. So in OBS, you click the Start Streaming button. So what I mean is go to your Facebook page, click the Publishing Tools button, then click Videos, then click Plus Live. Then you set up you get the stream key, go to OBS, click Settings. Paste your in under settings, you go to stream. Make sure that you have your Facebook Live selected from the service drop down. Paste your stream key in, click apply, click OK. Then you're going to close the window, and then from there you're going to click start streaming. But what I would recommend that you do is you mute your audio, and so that when the preview shows up, that it doesn't give you that weird echo thing. Then make sure you add your call to actions in, as well as the link to any link or links that you want to link to. Okay. Then then once you click the preview button, I would not click the go live button until right when you're ready to broadcast, just so you know. And that's why I said go ahead and mute, because you want to get all that set up in Facebook first and ready to go. Then move over to YouTube, and under the type, what I just showed you guys, you want to select quick, which uses Google Hangouts on Air. So just so you know, once again, under live streaming, click on events to schedule a live event, and you can have it scheduled for now. See how it says today now? Give it a title, optimize the description, all that, keep it to public or whatever it is you want to set it to. And then under type, remember, this is for simulcasting, you want to leave it on quick. Okay. And then you want to click the go live now button. Once you go live now, what I like about Facebook is, or excuse me, YouTube, is YouTube opens up a window with your Hangout, but it doesn't start the broadcast immediately. There's a separate button for you to start the broadcast when you're ready. I wish Facebook had that ability. Right now it says preview and then go live, but you know, the audio comes through and all this other stuff, and I you know, it is what it is. But that's why I just mute out all the audio and everything and leave the preview window open up in Facebook, because I want to get the YouTube event going first. And then once I'm all ready to hit the broadcast button for YouTube, for the Hangout on Air or the YouTube live event, then I would quickly jump over to Facebook and click the go live button there, so that I'm pretty much starting at about the same time. Okay. There's usually a little bit of a delay. Like I'll start the Facebook one first. And then the Facebookers will see kind of a little bit of behind the scenes stuff while I'm trying to get the Hangout on Air started. Okay. Use the schedule to live event YouTube under type, select quick. We just mentioned that. Complete all the settings info. Click go live when ready to broadcast. That's this up here. And then in Facebook, you click go live, right? And that's like I just mentioned, you want to go ahead and start the Hangout first, and then you want to jump over to Facebook and click that. And then, and that's it. Once you've done that, then you just want to make sure that you select your proper windows. And that's why, like, I've got a big monitor, a 32-inch monitor, and so I'm able to set up 4 1280 by 720 screens or areas, and that's what you guys are kind of seeing here. So that's what I do, is I set up a 1280 by a 720 window for Firefox, one for Chrome, which is right here. Then I do one for the presentation slides, or another browser window if I'm doing like Google searches and stuff like that or whatever. And then I have in the bottom right quadrant the OBS software. And that's how I have it set up. Now, I don't have another monitor. You might be able to do all this kind of stuff with multiple monitors. I don't know, because I've always just had one. So, but that's how I'm doing it. Okay. So hopefully that makes some sense, guys. We're going to go to the last slide, which is just some simulcasting tips. Get Windows and media ready before broadcast. If using Chrome for the HOA, use Firefox when sharing screen to live stream. So one thing I want to mention is, if you're using your Google Chrome as the browser that you initiate the Hangout on Air with, then whenever you're sharing screens, you're going to, sharing browser windows, you're going to want to be sharing Firefox, because Hangouts will not display a Chrome window on its own, because I guess the feed is being used by the Hangout on Air. Does that make sense? I know it's kind of tricky. It's weird, but because the Hangout on Air is using the feed through Chrome, then it won't display just a Chrome window. It will display the Chrome window if you show your entire desktop, but if you select just the Chrome window, it will just be a black screen. So that's why I said, if you're doing a Hangout on Air that has been initiated through a Chrome browser, you just want to make sure that you're selecting your Firefox window and displaying whatever you want to show in a browser in your Firefox window. Okay. Remember to end the broadcast in the Hangout on Air and click stop streaming in OBS, because like I said, I'm the dummy that always forgets to do that. And my Facebook Live posts have us being jackasses at the end of the webinars. Everybody can see those. All right. One last thing I do want to mention, and then we'll take a couple questions before we wrap it up, is if you're going to be using OBS to display Chrome, besides what I just mentioned, one thing is you'll find, and I had to do a little bit of digging to figure this out, but the default Chrome settings, you have what's called hardware acceleration enabled. You need to turn that off if you want to be able to display a Chrome window in OBS, or else it will just show a black screen. Let me show you how to do that. If you click on your top right corner, I know this is going to be small for a lot of you, but in the very top right corner of Chrome settings, you click on that 3 icon or 3 lines. That brings up this little Chrome menu. And from here, you want to go to settings, and you're going to scroll down to the bottom where it says show advanced settings. Click on that, and then you scroll down to the very bottom, and you'll see where it says use hardware acceleration when available. That is typically turned on by default. So you want to uncheck that, and it will prompt you to restart Chrome, which just means close the browser and then reopen it. And then from that point forward, you should be able to show a Chrome window in OBS. Otherwise, if you leave that turned on, it'll be a black screen. And like I said, I had to do a little bit of digging to find that out. So hopefully that made some sense. And now we will get into some questions. Let's see, where are we?
Yeah, Ron actually has the first question. And he wants to know if this is a similar functionality to Wirecast.
Yes, except I like it better. I find it easier to use. It seems to be less buggy, less of a pain in the ass to connect to YouTube. I mean, you guys saw through this presentation how easy it is to set up a live stream with both Facebook and YouTube. You just grab the stream key. That's it. You grab the stream key, you go to settings, stream, select the proper service, either Facebook or YouTube, and then paste the stream key in, click apply, click OK. That's it. You're ready to stream. And then you click the start streaming button and you're streaming. And to me, with any of you that have used Wirecast in the past, it makes you want to bang your head against the wall when you're trying to connect to YouTube, because sometimes it just doesn't want to connect and it's just a real pain in the ass. And not only that, but it's expensive unless you're using the free version. And this is free. OBS is free. So you can do all the stuff. I mean, Wirecast might be able to do more. All I ever used it for was live streaming pre-recorded videos to YouTube. And you can do that with OBS. So.
Okay, and then the next one would be Jacob, where he had more of a comment than a question. He said that you can open the software twice to stream to multiple places, and this is true. But you have to remember the bandwidth that you're going to be taking up.
Yeah.
You can do multiple. Actually, you can open it up multiple times, not just twice. But every one of those, if you're live streaming like to different, if you're doing a simulcast to 3, 4, 5, remember how much bandwidth that's going to use up, and you may not be able to do it. It may get throttled, right? Your ISP might not like what you're doing. So
yeah. That's a good point. I see. I didn't know that, so I'll actually play with that. I'll see if I can open up another instance of it.
Yeah, you can. You just click on the icon, because I've done it before. You click on it, and another instance opens up.
Nice. Cool. All right. Well, you know what? I'll play with that. I'll just have another window open to watch when I'm in the middle of trying to do all this magic. It'll give me another window to mess with. But no, that actually would be better. I will have to play with that. Who suggested that?
Jacob. It could be Jacob Erdeye again.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jacob. I will play with that for maybe by next Hump Day Hangouts. I'll have it to where I can stream just from OBS and not have to do all this fancy window crap, which would be so much nicer, to be honest with you. So I appreciate that. I will definitely. I never even thought to try that. So thank you for that.
And I totally agree with your Wirecast comments. I mean, it's buggy, and yeah, you do end up trying to beat yourself up to make it work, and it's not worth it when it's this easy.
Okay, cool. Is there anything else?
No, that's about it.
Yeah. So what you were saying about the simulcasting with 2 different instances of OBS, I could probably do two streams at 720p and still get away with it, but I'll have to test that. So I'm definitely going to be testing that between now and next week, guys, for Hump Day Hangouts, and we'll see what happens.
Jacob actually says that there's an OBS support forum, which is fabulous. And as you said, just go to YouTube and just type in OBS tutorials, because there's an endless number. That's how I learned to use it also. There's just an endless number of video tutorials. I mean, people are doing some wicked stuff with it. And then you pair that up with some video editing software, and you can get really creative and make it look like you're live at the same time. So.
Yeah, but it's really cool. I mean, like I said, I found this to be a lot easier to use than Wirecast, and there was another version of a encoding software called XSplit that I had tested, but that was also a paid option. They had a free version, but they had a paid version for that as well, like to get all the bells and whistles and crap. And The only reason why I grabbed OBS was because it gives me the ability to live stream to Facebook and do what I wanted to do with YouTube at the same time. I'm sure you could probably do it with the other ones, but I found a tutorial online. It was like pretty easy, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna give this one a shot, and so I like it. I'm gonna keep on using it, and I'll get better with it. And maybe once I get better with it, I'll share with you guys another webinar on like the part 2 of live streaming with OBS. But hope you guys enjoyed it. We will see you guys next week. And if you guys have any questions, just post in the appropriate groups or pages or whatever, and we'll get to them. So, hey, thanks, Marco, for your help today, man.
All right, man. No problem.
See you guys.
Bye, everyone.